All right, hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Spoiler Alert podcast. Dylan and Ty here, and Ty saw a bunch of movies this weekend, so yet again, this episode will be mostly him. That way, I'm not coughing on the microphone and killing everyone's ears. So, you're welcome for that, Ty. I know you didn't get to see everything this weekend, but seems like it was a decent week of movies.
Definitely a busy weekend at the movies. I had a good time. Everything was pretty good so far. Still got to see The Covenant, though. I'm excited to see that one, too. Hopefully here soon.
Yeah, so this episode, we'll do the usual, and then it's going to be a few different convince me to see or not. We'll kick it off with The Evil Dead Rises. Ty saw that one, so he's going to convince me to see it or not. I'm going to do the same for The Pope's Exorcist, and Ty is going to finish it off with Beau is Afraid, which is apparently 3 hours, and I don't know how we missed that because I had no idea until you texted me.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that going into it on a Sunday, 3 hours long on a Sunday. It's like, come on now. But yeah, not to spoil that at all.
Alrighty, so let's get into the upcoming movies this week. We'll kick it off here with Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And I don't know why this title sounds so familiar to me. I swear it was either released before or maybe it was a book. Oh, it was. It was Judy Blume. Remember Fudge, the Fudge books?
Fudge, yeah, super fudge.
Yeah. So there we go. So Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is coming out here. It's a pretty decent rating, 7.7 out of 10. Again, that's with a low number of ratings, but an 84 Metacritic score. This will be starting Abby Ryder Fortson. I don't know who she is. Oh no, Ty, you're not going to like this. She's Cassie in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh no.
So she got her own film here, co-starring with Rachel McAdams, who we probably know mostly from Mean Girls, but others may know her from, The Notebook?
Yeah, I'd have to assume so, yeah.
And then finishing it off here with Kathy Bates, who I might like her the most out of that trio.
Yeah, dude, and also Benny Safdie. Shout out to Benny Safdie, one of the better directors right now. Uncut Gems and Good Time with Robert Pattinson. Yeah, he can kill it as an actor too, as long as and directing. What else was he just in too? He was in Licorice Pizza as well.
Okay. Yeah, I did not know he was also an actor.
Yeah.
Kelly Freeman Craig is directing this one. She's also known for writing. I think she also directed, but The Edge of 17 with Woody Harrelson. That wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, it's okay. It's more like down to earth type movies, coming of age films, which I can only imagine knowing Judy Blume. It's going to be very similar to that.
This movie actually sounds pretty good. I think I might give it a go I don't know if I'll make it to the theater to see it, but I would definitely check this out streaming for sure. I like a good coming of age movie like this, especially because like it's giving kind of like Lady Bird vibes, you know? Lady Bird's a really good movie.
Yeah. So this seems to follow that same kind of trend where, a family moves and then, whoever has to make new friends. So it says exactly here, when a family moves from the city to the suburbs, 11-year-old Margaret navigates new friends, feelings in the beginning of adolescence. So again, it's probably a decent movie. I love Judy Blume. We grew up with her. I remember in elementary school during like the downtime or whatever, our teacher would always read the Fudge books to us.
Oh, yeah.
So that seems decent enough. Probably worth a watch. Next one here is Sisu, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong because it's a Finnish movie. But I feel like we talked about this one before. And
yeah, because I think I definitely mentioned it in like my anticipated movies. After seeing the trailer for it, I think it was during Operation Fortune, I saw the trailer for this movie and I was like, holy shit, I can't wait to see it. So now it's finally coming out. It looks awesome. Pretty much finished John Wick set during like, I think World War I or II. Yeah.
Yeah. So seems to be World War II, which I don't know exactly how this story is. I'm assuming this is not based on a true story at all because it sounds a bit wild. But when an ex-soldier who discovers gold in the Lapland wilderness tries to take the loot into the city, Nazi soldiers led by a brutal SS officer battle him. So they're literally fighting over gold here with Nazis.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm gonna try to see it. I don't know how long it'll be in the theaters for though. And right before we started recording, we just like kind of had a hard time finding it anywhere in the theater. So probably won't be very long till it's streaming.
Another one here that we also talked about, I feel like 2 weeks ago. These IMDb needs to figure out what the hell they mean when it says release calendar, because this said this release like 2 weeks ago, but now it's releasing to theaters again. But it's that From Black movie we talked about. Still sitting at a pretty high rating. I believe when we first talked about it, it was at like a 9.5. It is now a 9.0, but for a horror movie, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say this. Oh, the Shudder one. Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if this would be streaming anywhere else besides Shudder. I might have to take a look right now.
Yeah, that might be worth it here. Nothing, at least on IMDb, saying where it's playing, but coming right to Shudder, and that might be worth the free trial to give it a go.
It is not on the other website that we use that is perfectly legal.
Yes, but technically it is for us. We're not the ones putting it out there.
That's true. So yeah, it's not on there. So maybe one of us is gonna have to get Shudder. I think it's probably like $3.
That's fine. We'll do it. Worth the investment for the show, for the pod.
Yeah. So is this on Shudder now?
I don't think so. I think it says it comes out the 28th.
Oh, okay. So it'll be on Friday. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna get a Shudder trial. One of us could surely get a trial for Shudder on Friday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Give it a go.
Yeah.
See if it's even worth having Shudder as a whole.
Yeah, because we could probably honestly hit all the ones that are worth seeing in a weekend and then just get rid of it.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
Another horror film, which I never heard anything about, but it's called Clock, and this is another streamer. It's going to be on Hulu this week. This film by writer-director Alexis Jacknow follows a woman's desperate attempt to fix her broken biological clock. So, assuming with that, it sounds like she probably wants to have a kid, but she's a little too old, aged out of it, whatever. Her doesn't have enough eggs, etc. And watching the trailer, it's a little freaky here. So obviously something's going to go horribly wrong with this procedure she's getting, but maybe the biggest problem is she's getting the the procedure done by Jan Levinson from The Office.
Oh gosh.
But either way, there's not a ton of people in this film. You know, you look at the cast and like who they play, and a lot of the people are just like mother number one, mother number two, cop number two. So it seems to be very focused on a very small set of characters.
Mm-hmm. A lot of like good movies drop right on Hulu. I think the other one was called Fresh. It had Sebastian Stan in it. It was a solid movie. Let me see if it was called Fresh or not. It was actually a pretty, Fresh. It was a pretty decent movie, and it was right on Hulu as well.
Yeah, definitely worth a go. Disney owns Hulu, I believe, right? They're like a
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense, especially when you're throwing in Bucky Barnes in there.
Oh, yeah. And then the other one, it was just called Prey, right? It was the other, like the Predator prequel movie. It dropped right on Hulu, too. Another solid movie. So Hulu's kind of stepping it up here. Hulu's definitely stepping up their original movie game. So I'm pretty excited for this Clock. When does it come out? This Friday, I guess?
Friday, yeah. They're all dropping. Same time.
Wow. Maybe we can do a nice streaming episode like next week. Just review all these streaming movies. Honestly, I mean, I'll be busy at a wedding, but I can definitely make time to watch some shit at home. So that's nice.
Honestly, it might be us worth reviewing streaming services as a whole at this point. You know, it's like what one is worth paying for, because we get Netflix for free through like my brother's work or some shit, and like it's trash. There's so much I don't want to watch on Netflix other than Beef, which I just finished, which was fantastic.
Hell, freaking yeah! I've been watching Seinfeld lately on Netflix too, so it's good for that as well. Other than that, not a whole lot on Netflix these days, but yeah, definitely. I think whenever more shit starts to drop immediately on streaming, we should just like throw it on the docket, review it, talk about it.
And those are easier for people to see than actually hitting the theater up.
You don't got to go anywhere, and like we just said, a lot of the time these days, you can't really find everything that's in the theater.
A couple other films here to end this out. Yet another biography film here. Big George Foreman. It's a ridiculously long title. I'm only going to read it one time. Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world. Probably more well known for his grills, but we probably won't talk about those.
That is wildly long. I did not expect that
Why is
whatsoever.
it so long?
Big George Foreman, the grill maker.
That's the better title.
Yeah.
In your grill.
This movie is just a huge ad for the George Foreman grill.
I'm making a comeback.
Surely they still make those, right?
I don't think they do, because I feel like recently I saw some stupid article pop up saying I miss my George Foreman grill, like kind of insinuating they don't have them anymore.
Let's guess George Foreman's net worth. Okay, I already found it. Go ahead and give it a guess.
Dude, boxers make some money.
True.
I'm going to say less than Stephen King, which we did last week. So I'm going to I'll give him 250 mil.
You were pretty much spot on. It was 300 mil, but he made a solid living boxing, I guess, but he made a killing on those fucking grills, dude.
That makes sense. It was a good grill.
It was.
I remember my dad making burgers on that thing. You just pop them on, squeeze out all the juices, and you're done.
Hell yeah. I have really no intentions to see this movie, though. I saw the trailer and it looks bullshit.
I don't either. And it might be because Forrest Whitaker, I'm not a fan of him at all. I forget what movie I saw with him in it, but he pissed on a dude. And after that, I'm like, okay, I know you were told to do that, but you did it a little too well.
He just loves pissing on dudes with his wonky eye.
What movie was that? I think it was. Yep, this is it. The Experiment. It was. This was a real thing that I think Stanford did at one point, but this is obviously to a much greater scale. But people are chosen to participate in a study where some people take on the role of guards and others as prisoners. And as a guard, he's just like, I can do whatever I want, so I'm gonna pee on you. And
wow.
After that, I'm like, you know what? That's okay. I think I'm done here.
That's wild.
And then to finish it out here, probably the best movie upcoming, The Black Demon.
Shit.
Stranded on a crumbling rig in Baja, a family faces off against a vengeful megalodon shark. So I'm down for any shark movie. But what surprised me was I know the lead actor for this film. A lot of times a shitty film comes out and you're like, okay, these are all just random ass people. But this is starring Josh Lucas, who was in quite a few things. Ford versus Ferrari, Yellowstone, Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay.
So he's been in quite a few decent films. And now, he's fighting megalodons.
I thought he looked familiar, but who I recognized first was Hector Jimenez, who is Esquilito on Nacho Libre.
Oh my! I would have never picked that one.
I was like, holy shit!
Not only is he in Nacho Libre, but he's in. This has to be one of the lowest rating movies ever, with a 2.4 star rating. Epic movie.
Oh yeah, those movies are such a like a bygone era.
He plays Mr. Tumnus from the fucking Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
This movie and like Date movie, whatever, they were all so bad, but it was just like so ridiculous. One that still holds a pretty decent amount of water is Not Another Teen Movie with Captain America. Oh yeah, that one was solid. That was before its time.
That's true.
While Date movie comes in at a whopping 2.8 ahead of Epic Movie's 2.4.
Suck it, Epic Movie.
I saw Date movie in the theaters.
Really?
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I didn't even know it made it to theaters, but I guess for the time it makes sense.
And I probably didn't even realize what half the shit was that it was parodying at the time.
Dude, I find that out so often where like I'll watch something, mostly South Park. And then like now that I go and watch some like older films that they were making fun of, it clicks for me. I'm like, oh, that's what they meant. Like when they were making fun of Contact, they're like, oh, that movie sucked. That movie pissed me off. Stuff like that. I'm like, ha ha ha, I don't get it. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh, this movie's not that bad. And then the end happens. I'm like, oh, that movie sucked. So
I'm trying to figure out when the last time one of these parody movies came out. And I can't tell what year it would have been, but I found one that's apparently even worse, and it's a disaster movie. It's got a 1.9.
Yeah. Well, there was that time period where every movie they were doing was a disaster movie.
Yeah.
The what was it? Day After Tomorrow, whatever, and then it just kept going.
Yeah, and like 2012, all that.
Let's see if we can get some.
There are some ridiculous parody movies here. The Hungover Games. It looks like it's The Hunger Games, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Hangover, and Ted all on the cover.
Hell yeah.
So wild.
Let's see here. What other parodies they got? It had to be a while ago. I'm looking at just the wiki page for parody movies, and that might be at the Hungover Games 2014.
I was gonna say, I think it is. It's at least what I'm seeing so far too. 2014. That's less than 10 years ago.
There was also the Starving Games in 2013. So
yeah,
Jesus,
this must be the sequel to the Starving Games, the Hungover Games.
Of course,
How could we not know the Hungover Starving Games cinematic universe?
Made $332,000 at the box office.
Oh my god!
So, getting out of that horrible time of movies, Ty, any news worth noting?
A few things, not a ton, but we'll kick it off with something coming out next week here. So, Guardians of the Galaxy 3's first social media reactions are in, and they're all pretty positive from what I can tell. So, like I said, it comes out next week, but the film had its premiere last week, I think, in Paris. But so far, they're calling it the perfect end to the Guardians MCU trilogy. They're praising how the story is funny, heartbreaking, and it's emotional. And people are saying Will Poulter as Adam Warlock's really cool too, so that's cool. Definitely getting excited to see it now, having heard all of that. The review embargo is up on Friday, so we'll be able to see what people review on like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes about it. So we'll see if critics think the same. Another one here, Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi, is set to star in a zombie action comedy called Hell Nah. So, I mean, could just be called Nope. Nope 2, Nope again, but Sony Pictures has acquired the action horror comedy with Kid Cudi attached to star and the Euphoria creator Sam Levinson producing. Also, Oscar-nominated screenwriters Kenny and Keith Lucas are writing the script, which is in early development. So the plot's being kept under wraps, but we do know the film is set during Paris Fashion Week, and there will be zombies. So Kid Cudi said, "This movie's been in the making for 5 years. I'm telling the world now this film will fuck you up in all the best ways. The Lucas brothers and myself have really crafted a tale we feel everyone who's a fan of horror and comedy will enjoy. You will laugh, oh yes you will, but the horror aspect of this movie will really be something else. You'll be shook, I promise. Y'all know I don't play around," says Kid Cudi. So I don't know if Kid Cudi plays around or not, to be honest with you, but it sounds interesting enough.
I mean, he kind of seems like the guy to play around, just based on his personality.
I do like Kid Cudi a lot. I like his music, and he's always solid in all the movies he's in. You know, like X, which I can't quit talking about these days. But
I saw Kid Cudi. He performed at the Steelers game last year.
That was awesome,
and it was. Yeah, you would think so. He did a good job. But you know, when you think about like a halftime performance, you would think it would be on the field. You know, center field. Everyone watching it. No. He was up behind like the Heinz red zone, and like, I don't know, 100 people could actually see him, and everyone else had to watch him the Jumbotron.
Wow. I think he's a Cleveland guy too. Were they playing the Browns?
I actually think we were.
That might be why then. But
I'm stupid and I'm thinking of Wiz Khalifa. That's what it was. Say,
very well could have been Wiz Khalifa as well.
That's what it was. Yeah, I may have mixed them up. It's okay.
That's hilarious. We all know Wiz, big Pittsburgh guy, but this movie sounds interesting enough. I'm starting to feel like we're getting a little too much of the horror comedy stuff, though, like especially with zombies too. But all these people that are attached to it sound pretty solid, so maybe it'll be watchable. We'll see here. A couple more things here. Arnold Schwarzenegger is set to return for an action movie Breakout from the Expendables 4 director, so he's back. After a 4-year hiatus, he's back with this movie. Scott Waugh is aboard to direct the feature, which will see Arnold take on the lead role of Terry Reynolds. So when his stepson is framed and sentenced to 25 years in a foreign country, Reynolds makes a daring jailbreak to save him and must overcome an overzealous prison warden in a race against time to avoid capture and flee the country.
Isn't that the same story of is it a Mark Wahlberg movie?
It does sound really familiar. I feel like he's played the guy named Terry like 4 times. Terry Reynolds.
What's that movie? Mal 22. You know what? It probably wasn't Wahlberg. Who the hell was it?
It definitely does just sound like a pretty generic action plot. Like, oh, I gotta go break my son out of prison. That was a terrible Arnold impression, but
it's close enough.
I got to go get my son out of prison. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you did it.
Killed it.
What the okay, now that's Stillwater. Matt Damon.
Okay.
Father travels from Oklahoma to France to help his estranged daughter who is in prison for a murder she claimed she didn't commit.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it is pretty much
exactly the
generic
same
action plot.
Okay.
I don't know why he took
Arnie.
such a break from movies, though. 4 years. The last thing he was doing was Terminator Dark Fate, I think it said.
Oh, God.
Yeah, those movies just need to go die already.
Yeah, those need to stop.
Love Arnold, though. He's a good dude. I went to the Arnold Classic one time, saw him. It was cool.
That is pretty cool.
Last thing here, Markiplier, the YouTuber, is set to star and direct a horror film, Iron Lung, from his own script. And it's self-financed, and it adapts a video game. So it's based on the best-selling 2022 submarine horror game of the same name. So Markiplier first gained notoriety on his YouTube channel for his Let's Play gameplay commentary, most commonly in the genres of survival, horror, and action. I've heard of him, but I've never really watched any of his videos. But apparently this is like his jam, so maybe this will be cool. But I had to look up what this game was. So it's a first-person immersion horror game. The player controls an unnamed convict who explores an ocean of blood on a desolate moon in a small rusty submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung. So that's all really goddamn confusing. But yeah, the gameplay is set entirely within one room of a submarine and minimal room to move around, and it's controlled using a navigational thing in the front. So that sounds like a terrible video game. I bet it would make for a better movie, but yeah, I don't know.
I like a lot of horror survival video games. I've watched a few Markiplier videos.
Yeah.
He was never my favorite growing up. More of a PewDiePie guy.
Right.
So I don't know. I never played this game. Maybe I need to before I decide, but I just know from history, it's going to be an indie film. I'm sure he'll want to do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And he's financing it all himself. So maybe that's a good sign because he'll have all the power to change what he wants and make it into a good film. With that said, other people might want to try to adapt certain things to make it conform to a broader audience. And that's going to downgrade the movie for me. So I hope it does well. Just because it opens up a whole other door for him to do this for other games that should be turned into movies, such as like Outlast. That would be fantastic.
That would be cool.
But they need to be done correctly. And for now, I trust him because he is such a fan of that genre.
Yeah.
So I hope he does do it correctly.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I said, I think this would translate way better to being a movie than being a game. So we'll see what he does with it. I think that's it, though, for news as far as we got.
Fantastic. So, Ty, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, you're going to convince me to see or not. I have an assumption of what you're going to do. But let's do it for Evil Dead Rises.
Okay, so I think I'll start. I wanted to start mentioning some trailers, too, whenever I see a movie, because a couple caught my eye right before I saw this. But So, a new A24 movie called Talk to Me. I don't know if you saw the trailer for it yet or not, but it looks like another wild horror movie. It's coming out in July. It looks like it's going to be a good one. And surprisingly, the new Haunted Mansion movie looked pretty solid. I didn't realize that I was watching a preview for the Disney's Haunted Mansion movie until it came up at the end. So I never saw the first Haunted Mansion movie either, but this one looked solid with my new best friend Owen Wilson in it and Lakeith Stanfield. So it looked pretty solid. But yeah. Pretty solid trailers.
I did see the Talk to Me trailer. That does look good. I am
It looks
excited for
wild.
that. And the reason I think I looked it up, it premiered at South by down here.
Oh, okay.
And so like they had posters and shit everywhere. So that's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
gave it a look.
Yeah, it looks crazy. But anyways, so another crazy movie here. I'm such a huge fan of the Evil Dead franchise. We know that I said that this is one of my most anticipated movies here. The older ones are so much fun and their practical effects and how like campy and nostalgic they are. Bruce Campbell as Ash was iconic as hell. The 2013 like in quotations reboot or whatever the hell it is they're calling it now. One of my favorite horror movies pretty much ever. It's gruesome as hell and it's genuinely one of the scariest movies I'd seen at that point. And even the show was pretty solid. Ash vs. Evil Dead. I wish there would have been a few more scenes, but it wrapped up pretty well. But yeah. So I'm just such a big fan of the franchise. But this one, Evil Dead Rise, looked amazing from the trailer, so I couldn't wait. So it's a twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. So that sounds just about right. That's the quick plot. But yeah, it definitely didn't disappoint in my opinion. It definitely lives up to that hype around it. From the awesome opening title sequence, you know exactly what you're in for. It's gory as hell immediately, scary too. The movie absolutely flies by at an hour and 37 minutes long. It was like you snap your fingers and this movie's done. The effects for being practical or CGI looked awesome too. There's so much like blood, and I think it said 1,720 gallons of fake blood, which is just a lot of fake blood. So the lady that plays the possessed mom, Alyssa Sutherland, she does awesome, crazy body work and all that, and the way they make her looks awesome. She portrays being a demon, a deadite, whatever, really well. There's also a lot of other subtle references to the other Evil Dead movies and other horror movies too, like The Shining. I'm sure you'd have been able to pick it out if whenever you see this too. I was immediately like, "Oh, Shining." I will say that I wish it was even scarier. It kind of seems like they maybe toned it down a little bit or something, and it wasn't nearly as like shocking or graphic as the last one from 2013. I'm watching that right now, and there's a guy getting stabbed in the eye by a piece of glass. He's about to crack her over the head with a toilet lid. So that one's crazy, but yeah, I almost wish this one would have just taken that and just cranked it up to like 11. I still really, really liked it. All in all, awesome horror movie, and it's definitely my favorite horror movie of the year so far.
Yeah.
I'm already ready to watch it again, and I can't wait for even more Evil Dead. So I landed on 8.5 out of 10 on it.
Okay.
But since then, I bumped it up to 8.8. Just talking about it made me bump it up even more, wanting to watch it again already.
So with just your current rating, Ty, that puts it at our number 2 movie for the year, right behind John Wick 4.
Wow. Right now, I don't know what's going to beat John Wick, dude. I really don't.
Yeah, we kind of ran through those scenarios. And it's like there's very few opportunities to do so. But what might surprise us is like some like smaller movie. Evil Dead Rise isn't that big of a movie when comparing to like a John Wick, a Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Impossible. So I think it might be one of these less popular films that ends up overtaking it, if any of them.
Yeah, and like an Evil Dead isn't really going for awards, anything like that. No. It's not going to be like a critically amazing movie, but just a movie that we like as much as John Wick. It's going to be hard to top.
So I'll get some questions here to try to get some more info about it without spoilers. I know I'm already going to go see it.
Yeah.
But for everyone else listening, and if you're kind of on the fence here, is it a film that delivers in terms of going to see it in theaters, or like or if you saw it sitting on your couch, would you feel the same about it? Do you think it would carry that same tone, or is it a movie that's going to be scarier in a theater?
I would definitely say go see it in the theater. It's it's really good theater experience. Like I said, walking in, the people at the front counter were telling me that they had to check in on the audience every 30 minutes while we watched it. I don't know, to gauge our reaction to how scary it was, or to see if we were all getting possessed too, or what the fuck was going on. But that was wild. But yeah, really good theater experience. It's you feel like you're in that high rise, like you're watching it all happen in that room. it's only an hour and 37 minutes long too. So that's another
Good.
thing. Like it's worth going for just that short amount of time. You're not missing out on too much. But this movie was originally supposed to be on HBO Max, but they pushed it to theaters. So good thing they did because it's performing really well right now at the box office. But I wouldn't be surprised if it won't be streaming after, I don't know, a couple more months. So it'll definitely be streaming here probably pretty soon. But definitely go to the theater if you can to watch it.
Awesome. And then, you talked about all the gallons of fake blood they had to use, and you
Mhm.
do wish it was scarier. So what side does that kind of fall on? Are you getting more jump scary type scenes, or are you getting more kind of like Saw, blood, gore, those type?
It's almost like psychological, just like you're watching this possessed mother attempt to kill her whole family, and like there is definitely a lot of gore, but it's a lot of psychological horror too, as well as like the physical. So it was, I really liked it. I can't wait to watch it again already.
And then comparing it to the previous Evil Dead,
Hmm.
uh, pick one right now. You're watching Evil Dead right now as we do this. Would you rather watch this one or Rise?
It's tough. I really like Rise, but I think 2013's is still like it's still like that movie for me that like really like
Okay.
it shook me. It left its mark on me. Because like I said at the time, it scared the shit out of me. It was like shocking. It was gory as hell. This one's still really good for a horror movie, but it didn't have that like shock to it that I was hoping for. Like that moment that I was like, holy shit, this is like terrifying. It's scary, but it's not
Yeah.
like the scariest thing I've ever seen.
And then I other than the name,
Mhm.
is there anything that like links it to the Evil Dead series? I know they're all not really connected other than name. So I'm
Mhm.
curious,
Yeah,
are there any links? Do they still have like what is it, the Necronomicon or whatever that's causing problems?
there definitely is. So I don't want to go too deep into
Okay.
that because it's definitely like you'll definitely pick up on it at the movie. But yeah,
Okay.
so and it's definitely looking like there's going to be more of them too. So they're going to keep continuing with what
Sweet.
they're doing. So that's cool too.
So is it a film you can watch on your own? No one has to see any previous ones.
Yeah, no, you don't need to watch it like the original ones from whatever time the hell that was, or the 2013 one either. It's pretty much its own thing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I got to get to the theaters to see this one. I know that. Uh Mostly because it's better than the film I'm going to convince you to not go see. And that is The Pope's Exorcist. I texted you while I was watching it,
Hmm.
and it's only an hour 43, but it felt long. It drags, even though it feels like it starts off very quickly. So it's very confusing when I say that. So like the opening scene, it's just him going and performing an exorcism at somewhere, and it's wild. Um, really kicks off the movie. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is gonna be pretty good. As it goes on, it's not. It falls into a lot of the same tropes that these kind of exorcism movies do.
Hmm.
And what that means is everyone acts like a fucking idiot.
Hmm.
And because of that, it's not that good of a film. So essentially, what happens, a woman, her daughter, and her son, they move to what seems to be an old church or chapel, something. It doesn't look like a house, but they decide they're going to go live in it because it was in her husband's family and they just inherited it because he died. And
Hmm.
they decide, you know what, we need something new to get away from my husband's death and not remember this. Let's go live in this creepy fucking chapel or some shit. And no one is ever gonna do that.
Yeah.
And like, it's one thing if you're saying, okay, this is just a movie. They're not just saying that. They're saying that this actually follows an event that happened to Father Gabriel, or whoever Russell Crowe's character is, who was known as the quote unquote Pope's exorcist. So what I think happened was someone like read about this dude and he performed like one exorcism ever, and then they just plopped it into Chat GPT and ran with it.
That sounds probably like they're going to do that with a lot of things going forward.
That is exactly what this feels like, because you can't tell me that Father Gabriel went and did all this shit in just essentially acted on his own. You know, it seemed like the newer heads of what the hell's that place called? Wow, I should know this. I grew up Catholic.
Vatican?
The Vatican. Thank you. The new heads of the Vatican, they're like, oh, your way of doing things is outdated. I'm like, bud, you guys run a church. You're all outdated. But yeah, and Russell Crowe's character, because he's Russell Crowe, is like, no, I'm gonna keep doing whatever I want to do. If you want to fire me, talk to my boss, and his boss is the Pope. Haha, you're not going to convince him. But that was really a big part of there. And then immediately, like as his family moves into the house, fucker gets possessed. And you know, like every other film, it's oh no, the doctors can't figure out what's wrong. He seems perfectly fine. Let's call the church. And here in comes Russell Crowe fighting around the world, and he's going to save the kid. But it falls into all of those same traps where, oh, we got to tie him up. Oh, he can use fucking mind control and make people fly and slam into shit. Tying up a little kid seems pretty fucking stupid now, huh? And for a while, it was sitting at a decent movie for me. But the way they solve the problem at the end, it immediately dropped the score from, I think I was ready to give it a 5. And then it got really, really stupid. And so I dropped it to a 3 out of 10.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So was not great. I don't know what Russell Crowe saw in this script, nor why he took it on. Because
probably money.
Exactly. That is all I can think of. Because for the most part, he agrees to only do pretty decent things. Yeah, he's like little characters every now and then in a random ass movie. But if he is the star of a film, for the most part, he is going to try to be a good character for a good script. That was not this.
Okay. So does it pretty much fall into those same cliches you get from pretty much every possession, exorcism movie?
Every single one.
That's pretty much what I wanted to figure out, because if it's that, then nothing sets it apart. There's no reason to watch it. It's just been done so many times.
If you went into the movie with like a exorcism bingo card, you'd probably hit every single square.
That's a great way to put it, because I kind of got that vibe even from whenever you were texting me. I was like, this is exactly every exorcism movie, just wrapped it up and put the Pope in front of it.
Yeah. And I think what I texted you was there was substance in this story and they fucked it up. Was really what it was. Because a comment I saw about the film before I watched it was it's a mixture between The Exorcist and the Da Vinci Code. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why would they say that? And then watching the movie, I'm like, oh, okay. There's a little bit more mystery around the place that they that family moved into. And I wish they would have went with that and just put all the Exorcist shit to the side. I know it's in the fucking name. Doesn't mean you have to go full horror. It could have been a thriller mystery for like this Father Gabriel figuring out why this place is possessed, what's going on here. Because that backstory was so much more interesting than, oh no, my kid's possessed. Help me. But they chose the former, and it was just bad.
That pretty much did it for me. You convinced me. I'm not going to give it a go.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, if you were deciding whether or not to watch this, don't. It's not even a streamer. You know, there's some movies where it's like, I'm okay watching it if I didn't pay money. This isn't one of those. I wish I never would have saw it.
Yeah. What a letdown. What a bummer.
Yeah. And what confuses me the most, I put this on Letterboxd or whatever, why the rating is so high. The 6.2 out of 10 for an Exorcist movie does not track with me at all.
And the same with Rotten Tomatoes. It's got an 82% audience approval, but only 51% critic approval. So people like it more than audience or more than critics, but yeah, still weird.
I think it's because of how the end goes. that they're like, oh, it's so different. It's great. Russell Crowe's so good. And I'll be honest, Russell Crowe was very good in the film. It's
Mhm.
just the story was stupid.
Yeah,
So don't go see it.
that sums it up perfectly. Yeah, I don't think I will.
To close out the episode here, Ty, yet another all horror films we're doing here. Probably the most curious one is what you're about to go into with Beau is Afraid, the newest film in Ari Aster's resume.
Yeah, the newest Ari Aster joint, as they say. So, Beau is Afraid, completely different than anything we just talked about, man. It is truly one of the wildest and weirdest movies I've ever seen. So, following the sudden death of his mother, a mild-mannered but anxiety-ridden man confronts his darkest fears as he embarks on an epic, Kafkaesque odyssey back home. So, I get that's what he's going for with the Odyssey, the 3 hour long, but I had no idea I had no idea it was going to be 3 hours going into this, and I also didn't even know really what to expect because the trailer is kind of just all over the place. So, I was essentially going in blind, which is good. Um, it's definitely strange. It's unique, and it's like something I've never really seen before. And I don't know if we'll get anything like this again. It's pretty polarizing, it seems like. So Ari Aster is definitely taking the audience on a trip literally, of what it's like living with extreme anxiety and fear constantly through Beau. This movie doesn't hold your hand and it won't walk you through what you're watching, so you don't know what the hell you're watching. It's not going to be like, we're doing this and this and this. You see what you see and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? So, yeah, it's supposed to just be for your interpretation, what you get out of it, what you want to get out of it. So people that go into this expecting a straightforward, goofy horror thriller or whatever the hell this is, they won't get it or they probably won't like it. If you're just expecting like a Midsummer or a Hereditary, you're going to be like, what the fuck did I just watch? Joaquin's amazing in this, though. He's truly just one of the best actors right now. The way he portrays Beau and all the emotions he goes through is just wild. You see his big old nuts too. It's funny. They're not actually his nuts, but it is hilarious in the movie why Beau has these big ass nuts, dude. It is so funny. That's not a spoiler, but it's a spoiler a little bit. He's got these huge freaking balls.
That's good.
But that's what I was just gonna. There are some genuinely laugh out loud moments in between all the chaos and the confusion and the anxiety inducing moments. So yeah, like I liked it. I still think it's weird as fuck, and I don't know what the hell really I watched. And I definitely don't think it needed to be 3 hours long, even though like it's Ari Aster's vision, his epic, whatever. But I think at least one person got up and left before it was over. But I think I ended up at a 6.5 on it, and I've since bumped it up to a 7 just because it's so fucking wild. Like, it is just truly nuts. It's got great performances in it, but yeah, it's just wild, dude. I don't even know how to explain it. You're just going to have to watch it. And I can't wait to see your take on it because it's something.
Yeah, we might have some polarizing views there once I eventually see it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently tied for third place of our yearly rankings. Again, this is just with you. You know, we don't have my score in there yet, but still, with that 7, that's bumping it up there pretty good.
Yeah, I wanted to go a little bit lower on it, but the more I was sitting and thinking about it, I was like, I get what he's going for here. I liked it, but I just don't know if I can watch it again. I'm sure I might check it out again, but it is just like it's nuts.
Is that maybe a flaw in itself? You know, it's a movie that's 3 hours long, and you're like, man, I don't think I want to watch that again. But
yeah,
if you did give it a second watch, would it maybe even be better because you're noticing more things?
it probably would
together more.
It probably would be better on a second watch, honestly, almost. I would have to say, now kind of knowing what to expect and maybe being able to pick up on other little things, it might be better on a second watch. So yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Is it too long? Does it drag out?
I did check my watch several times in the theater. I was like, holy shit, I still have another hour and a half to go. I think I checked it like after an hour and a half, and I was like, oh my God, like barely halfway through this movie right now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it's longer by a lot. Hereditary was only 2 hours, 7 minutes. Midsummer, 2 hours, 28 minutes.
This is A24's longest movie, like the entirety of A24. It's their longest movie just in general.
And so, man, I don't even know. Is the story, is it linear? Like, you have all of his different ages here, or is it
Hmm.
kind of going back and forth between, oh, this is what happened when I was a kid. Oh, this is what happened when I was an older man, or is it kind of back and forth?
It is pretty linear, but then you do get some of those cuts to Beau young and Beau old or whatever the hell.
Okay. Any,
Yeah.
you said Joaquin has his standout as you would hope as the
Oh
leading
yeah.
role, but
Yeah, he's amazing.
how about anyone else? Amy Ryan, Nathan Lane, are they?
Nathan Lane was really funny, and we were talking about him, and he was funny. I'm gonna look and see the other actors' names real quick here, because there was another actor that stands out that was pretty good too. Patty Lupone.
Patty?
Lupone? She plays his mom in the movie.
Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Yeah, and you also recognize Amy Ryan from The Office.
Hmm. I just random. I see Bill Hader is in this.
Yeah, he's a quick cameo. He's a UPS guy.
Okay, he just pops up.
That's another one of those just funny ass. Like there's that. Like I genuinely laughed out loud a lot in this movie, and that's like another reason why I end up going a little higher on my score here, because a lot of the times you're like, what the hell am I watching? But then something will happen that's just cracking up hysterical.
And a lot of the times, well, in his other films, they weren't really meant to be laughed at all. Hereditary, not at all.
Mm,
Midsummer, I can see some funny moments, but you're probably not supposed to laugh. It's just so out there that you kind of giggle a little bit.
yeah.
Um, so his other films, Hereditary obviously has a major point in the story that has that massive shock value.
Hmm.
Midsummer does as well, maybe not to the extent of Hereditary.
Hmm.
Is there one of those moments in Beau is Afraid?
I think the entire movie is one of those moments.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, it's like you're just like you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you're trying to think what's going to happen next,
Uh-huh.
and then it just never happens. You just don't know what's happening next.
Never predict it.
Yeah, you don't know
Okay.
what the hell's going to happen next.
Yeah, the more you talk about this film, the more I kind of uh watch trailers, and I don't read really any other reviews.
Uh-huh.
Um just because I want to go into this film almost blind.
That's the best
Uh
way to do it. That's like I said too. Like I pretty much did the same because I caught a couple of the trailers either in the theater or whatever, but the trailer, I guess I should watch the trailer again now having seen it to
yeah.
see how it reflects on the movie, but it doesn't you don't know what you're watching when you see that damn trailer.
And then I think the last question I want to ask you is something that I worry about and something I've noticed, not just with Ari Aster, but kind of with A24. I think they've kind of solidified their self as a production company that's willing to take those risks
Mm-hmm.
and do some wild movies. And that obviously has rewarded them a lot. They just won a Best Picture. And
Mm-hmm.
now they have a show that is possible to gain an Emmy
Mm-hmm.
with Beef. So obviously they're taking these risks and it's paying off. But I always worry with these movies. Hereditary was probably the one to kick it off. You're like, this movie's fucking nuts. And it just sits with you. And it's probably top 5 best horror films in the past 10, 20 years.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it has to sit up there. And so when I saw Midsummer, I was expecting that kind of level, but as the film kind of went on, I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm going to get what I got out of Hereditary here. It feels like they're trying to push the boundaries of what they can get away with. Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel that with Beau is Afraid? Do you feel like, hey, I'm Ari Aster, people know my name, people are going to go see my movie, I'm just going to make it fucking wild?
I think this is definitely the A24 gave the reins to Ari Aster because they trust him to do what he wants now after
Uh-huh.
having two really successful movies for them. And that relationship he has with them, they trust him to go out and make his movie that he's been wanting to make forever. So he finally gets to do that here. So yeah, I think it's not really trying to go and be the next like Hereditary or anything like that. It's just, hey Ari, here you go. Here's your budget. Make the movie you've been wanting to make.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I this is just right. I'm looking at Ari Aster's page on IMDb, and you need to watch this because you've already seen Beau is Afraid. He has another short film called Beau. Did you see that?
No, I haven't, but I did read something about it on IMDb. I don't know much about it though.
And so I'm curious. It doesn't sound like they're related or this inspired Beau is Afraid at all. But you should take a look at it just to see if it is, because it's only 7 minutes long.
Okay. I wonder where it is.
But it says a neurotic middle-aged man's trip to visit his mother is delayed indefinitely when his keys are mysteriously taken from his door. He is subsequently haunted by an increasingly sinister chain of upsetting events.
That is just Beau is Afraid.
Is it?
That is Beau is Afraid, yeah.
Okay, so maybe I can just watch the 7-minute one and not the 3-hour one.
You definitely still have to watch the 3-hour one. I hate to break it to you. But yeah, so it sounds like he just took that and then cranked it up to fucking 100 for this movie.
He also really took that budget and ran. It feels like, 7 minutes to 3 hours, and then there's only 4 people in the film. Ari Aster himself is in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if this is on YouTube or what.
Yeah, we gotta find that somewhere. And if it is, I'm not gonna watch it until after. I don't want anything ruined for me.
Definitely don't watch it.
Let's do short film. I'm just curious.
I think it is on here. YouTube. Maybe.
Beau, short films. No, that's not it.
That's not it. Never mind.
Beau. Nope, that's 4 minutes, so that's only half of it. There's reaction videos. You know what? You'll probably be able to find it somewhere else.
Oh, right. Okay, I know. I gotcha.
Yeah, anything else you want to say about this movie, Ty? This is a big investment. So what you say here really matters. Should people see this in theaters, spend their time and money to go watch this, or should they wait?
I think you should probably go and watch it at the theater, because if you watch it at home, you might be tempted to watch your phone or pick something else up or change the channel or fuck off and do something else. I think if you're at the theater, you're stuck with this movie and you're going to be like, what the hell am I watching? And that's really the point.
Sounds a little bit like torture. But it's meant to be.
Yes, that's
we're paying for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get, and that's kind of like the movie's point.
Okay. Then that sounds like a movie for the Alamo, because they will not let you look at your phone. You'll get kicked out.
There you go. So man, it's wild as hell. It's really like nothing I've ever seen before. I'm kind of trying to think of something that's even similar. Maybe like, I don't want to say it until after you've seen it. That way it's not like, I don't want to draw comparisons.
Fair enough. I will try to force myself into the theater sometime this week.
Yeah, so it is an investment. It is definitely a time investment, so it's tough, but it'll be worth it. I think you'll probably like it, but I me, you'll be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it feels like a film that might be one or the other for me.
Yeah. You might hate it too. That's fine. Either way.
Yeah, it's okay. But I think that'll do it here, Ty. We got a few films to see this week. I believe you said you're going to see Covenant, which I also want to see. That seems to be getting some great reviews. We already know we both like Guy Ritchie, so definitely going to give that one a go. But even like the streamers, those two
definitely think we should do the streamers for sure. I think I'm going to try to go to see the Covenant this week. I really want to see it while it's still in theaters. I don't want to have to wait to see it. Maybe perhaps Wednesday I'll go after work, just run and see it, and then sometime this weekend catch all these streamers. Maybe at least one or two of them. I think we got three were streaming, or two?
Clock, and then
Clock and the Shutter one, from Black.
Is it From Black? Yeah, From Black.
Like, okay, that's it. Yeah. So we got 2 streamers this week. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, those will be good.
That'll be perfect for the next episode.
You know what? One of those will be good. I bet one sucks.
That's definitely a fair bet.
But I think that does it here, Ty. You know, we got the NFL draft, so a little other things happening here this week that we'll be watching. But
that's true.
Some fun times.
Big week ahead.
I think that does it, and we will see everyone next time.
See ya.
Bye bye.